Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we're unpacking Shawn Stevenson's incredible book, Sleep Smarter. And look, the goal here isn't just about clocking more hours in bed. It's about completely transforming how you see sleep, turning it from a nightly chore into your single greatest performance-enhancing tool.
Now, that line, that just flies in the face of everything our hustle culture preaches, right? We're constantly told that sleep is for the weak, that it's a luxury that gets in the way of success. But what if that's the biggest myth holding us back? Stevenson's whole point is that the real secret of top performers isn't just about outworking everyone, it's about out-recovering them by sleeping smarter.
And this, right here, is the absolute core idea of the book. When you close your eyes at night, you're not just powering down. You are firing up a high-tech biological laboratory. This is prime time for repairing muscle tissue, for your brain to sort and file away the day's information, and for your crucial hormones to get a total system reset. It is one of the most active and productive things you do all day.
So how do we actually tap into this power? Well, the very first step is to understand and start working with your body's internal timing system, its master clock. So what is this master clock? It's called your circadian rhythm. And the best way to think of it is like the conductor of your body's orchestra. It tells you when to feel awake and when to feel tired by releasing specific hormones. The two big players you need to know are cortisol, that's your get up and go hormone, and melatonin, which is the signal that says, hey, it's getting dark out, time to wind down. And this is where things get really practical. Think about your morning. On the left, we have what most of us do. Roll over, grab the phone, and start scrolling in a dark room. This just confuses the heck out of your body clock. But on the right, getting just 10 minutes of natural sunlight first thing in the morning, that's like a shot of natural coffee for your entire system. It triggers a healthy cortisol spike, and, this is crucial, it sets a timer for melatonin to be released about 14 to 16 hours later, right when you need to be getting sleepy. So, if morning sunlight is the big on switch, then the blue light from our phones and screens at night is a giant pause button for sleep. When you're scrolling through social media in bed, that specific wavelength of light is basically screaming it's high noon at your brain. And what does your brain do? It slams the brakes on melatonin production. This is why you can feel exhausted but also totally wired. The rule is simple, and as Stevenson says, it's non-negotiable. All screens off at least 90 minutes before bed. And speaking of things that sabotage your sleep, let's talk about that afternoon coffee. Caffeine is like that party guest who just will not leave. As you can see here, if you have a coffee at 2 p.m., half of it is still in your system at 10 p.m. Think about that. By 2 a.m., when you should be in your deepest sleep, a full quarter of it is still circulating. It's robbing you of quality sleep, even if you don't realize it. That's why we have the caffeine curfew, a hard stop on caffeine by 2 p.m., period. All right, so we've got our internal clock dialed in. Now, let's talk about the world outside your body, your actual bedroom. It's time to engineer the perfect environment for sleep. I know, that might sound a little chilly to some of you, but there is a massive biological reason for it. See, to get into that deep, restorative sleep, your body's core temperature actually needs to drop. A cool room doesn't just feel comfortable. It actively helps your body do what it needs to do, signaling your brain that it's time to shut down for repairs. If your room is too warm, your body spends all night fighting to cool itself down instead of recovering. So the goal is to create what Stevenson calls a sleep cave. Think cool, quiet, and pitch black. But honestly, that last point on the slide, that might be the biggest psychological game changer of all. Your brain is a powerful association machine. If your bed is also your office, your movie theater, and your kitchen table, you can't be surprised when your brain gets confused and refuses to see it as a place for rest. So, you've tuned your clock, you've built your sleep cave. What's next? The next piece of this whole puzzle is what you're actually fueling your body with all day long. You know that old saying, breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, dinner like a pauper? Well, it turns out it's absolutely brilliant sleep science. When you crush a heavy meal right before bed, you're forcing your body to make an impossible choice. Should I digest all this food, or should I run my nightly repair cycle? Guess what? It can't do both well at the same time, and digestion almost always wins, meaning your recovery takes a huge hit. Think of exercise as a big switch for your body's energy systems. It's incredibly powerful, but you've got to flip it at the right time. A morning workout is fantastic. It raises your body temperature, it raises cortisol, it sets you up for a high-energy day.
But an intense workout at 9 p.m., that's like hitting the eject button on sleep. It does the exact opposite of what your body needs to wind down, leaving you hot, sweaty, and totally wired. If you have to exercise at night, think gentle. A calm walk, maybe some light yoga.
Okay, so we've timed our meals, we've timed our workouts, but can we take it a step further? Can we actually eat things that help us sleep better? Are there, like, natural sleeping pills hiding in our kitchen? The answer is a resounding yes.
Let's just talk about two of the superstars. First up is magnesium. They call it the anti-stress mineral for a reason. It has this incredible calming effect on your entire nervous system. And then there's tryptophan. You know, the famous stuff in Thanksgiving turkey that makes everyone sleepy? Well, it's not a myth. Your brain literally uses tryptophan as the raw ingredient to build your sleep hormone, melatonin. So giving your body these building blocks is just a smart way to prep for a great night.
Okay, so we've covered all the physical stuff, the light, the temperature, the food. But you know what? A lot of the time, the biggest battle for a great night's sleep isn't fought in our bedroom. It's fought between our own ears. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important section, mastering your mindset. Your brain is kind of like a puppy. It loves routine and it responds to clear, consistent cues. A pre-bed ritual is how you train your brain to wind down on command. It could be anything. 10 minutes of reading an actual book, no screens, sipping a cup of herbal tea, or doing some light stretching. What you do is less important than the fact that you do it consistently. You're creating an undeniable signal that says, hey, the day is done, time to power down. You know that feeling when your mind is like a web browser with 50 tabs open at midnight? If that's you, this technique is a lifesaver. It's called the brain dump, and it is so effective. The physical act of writing down your to-do list, your worries, your random ideas, it gets them out of your head. You're showing your brain that these thoughts have been captured, they're safe, and you're giving it permission to finally log off. This might just be the most powerful mind hack in the entire book. We have all been there, lying in bed, wide awake, stressing about not sleeping. It creates this weird performance anxiety for sleep. And the more you stress, the more cortisol you release, and the further away sleep gets. This simple little mantra just flips the script. It takes all the pressure off. And so often, the very moment you stop trying so hard to force sleep, that's when it finally finds you. So let's bring this all home. For way too long, most of us have treated sleep like a debt we have to pay for being productive, like an inconvenience. But Stevenson's entire argument is a radical reframing of that idea. In a world that runs on brain power, sleep isn't a cost. It is your single greatest competitive advantage. And the return on that investment? It's massive. We're talking about a sharper mind to solve complex problems, better decision-making under pressure, more creativity, rock-solid emotional stability, and a stronger immune system. This isn't just about feeling less tired. It's about upgrading your entire human operating system. So that leaves us with one final question, and this one is for you. After all this, take a good look at your own life. Right now, is sleep your enemy or is it your superpower? Because honestly, the answer you choose for yourself could change absolutely